Hey out there, my name's Jack. It's election day, and I just felt like I had to do something, even though it's the 11th hour. I feel like I've got a civic responsibility to participate beyond just voting myself, giving money to a campaign or something. What else could I do? I'm out here in California, so I thought of making a video to reach out to my swing state friends, who are going to the polls today if you haven't voted already. And I'm gonna cast a Hail Mary out to you guys. First, I want you to know that I've never been a part of any political party or registered at 18 for no party, and I stand by that choice. I don't like the games, I don't like the money involved. So I just wanted to be able to feel like more of an independent mind on the topics and issues that we vote on. With that, I do look at things more from a left kind of view, and I think it's good to have diversity of views in our country, that we hear from each other and we're allowed to disagree, right? We don't have to hate each other for our different views on things. We're allowed to disagree. That's part of the civic discourse that we're all supposed to be a part of. So when I look at our system, one that we kind of pioneered for the rest of the world, I see it as the solution to history's problems with, how political systems worked and how governments solved problems. And a lot of the time it was through violence, right? People used violence to get their way. And we came up with a system that greatly reduced that. And I think that is an amazing thing that we need to defend, and it takes care and love to work for that. So that's part of my message today is, whatever happens at the end of the day, we've got to have integrity for ourselves and support the integrity of the system. Let it work the way it's supposed to, even if our team loses. So with that, my Hail Mary is, in my swing states, please don't vote for Trump. That's a hard thing for people that are going out there today. Who am I? You might not even see this. But that's my plea to you. I've got a few reasons to share. First of all is his character, how he talks about people. I believe that our system is meant for everybody. It's all inclusive, all humans, no matter what package you come in. I don't care. You're part of our human family and you deserve respect. And he doesn't really show much respect for a lot of people. In fact, he's pretty dehumanizing towards a lot of people. Take immigration just as an example. There's a valid discussion to be had about undocumented people coming across the southern border, but that's not how he talks about it. It's not a policy issue so much as it is just kind of hateful rhetoric about a group of people. The reality is most people are coming over for economic reasons or to escape violence. And I don't blame them for that, right? I think there's a proper way to come to the United States to seek opportunity. We're a nation of immigrants, all of us, unless you're Native American, which is only 3% of the population. So the rest of us came from somewhere at some point. So I think there should be a system that allows for that in a managed way. And let's discuss that, right? We haven't had immigration reform for decades. I remember Obama saying to Congress, pass a bill, right? We've always been concerned about this. But that's not how Trump discusses it. He calls people rapists. He calls them criminals, drug dealers, murderers, when the statistics show that they actually are committing less crime than native-born people. So to me, that's really dehumanizing, and it leads to a lot of hate towards other humans that is not warranted. So yes, let's work on immigration, but let's also think about how we talk about it. The way I see it is a conservative position on immigration could win over a lot of people from the left if it was reframed. Talk about it in humanitarian terms. we need stronger borders because we don't want people dying trying to come into the country. In deserts, drowning, children, mothers, being exploited and extorted by coyotes, the trauma that they go through in that criminal network, to manage drugs and arms and other things like that. Those are all valid, right? But that's not usually the highlight. Those get talked about, but it's usually just kind of this really disgusting way of talking about other people. And that's not just limited to immigration. It's something he uses frequently. I see Trump as like, there's two sides, right? There's what we see on camera, which he loves, and then there's Trump behind closed doors with, when he was in office, and in other situations as well. And over time, those people have come forward. Generals, cabinet secretaries. The list goes on and on. It's not just a handful of people. It's a huge list of people. And they are very consistent in what they say about him. That he makes hasty decisions. He doesn't like to hear dissenting views. He kind of goes with his gut. He is just as resentful and angry towards groups that don't support him behind closed doors as he is in public. He's used racist language behind those closed doors. And things about, like, whether it's the public comments he makes or things that people have reported, I honestly think it's more coincidence, but he says a lot of things the same way that Hitler did. That's not okay. You don't want to coincidentally be in league with those kind of views, right? And again, I don't think he's got like some secret Hitler shrine or something like that. I don't think he would be looking for global domination and creating a Holocaust of people that Hitler did. I'm not suggesting that at all. But his vision of how government should work and how people that challenge him or disagree with him should be treated, he said it himself, that's he would act like Hitler. And that is really scary. That's unconstitutional. So I think we should listen to the people that are telling us they have this experience with him. It's just this, like, to me, like, a part of his masculinity is to just be a bully and be attacking and be horrible to other people. And this track record of his goes back decades. To me, masculinity is being confident in yourself and being impervious to other people's genders or sexualities, and just being strong in who you are. I'm not threatened by other people based on whatever human characteristics they've got. I'm me, and that's good, right? So I feel like that's a kind of deep-rooted insecurity that he has. That he needs to reinforce who he is, this big, strong man, by denigrating and demonizing other people. So all of that, to just kind of make my thoughts clear on who he is as a person and what kind of character he has. I think there's things to talk about with, some of his big talking points. I mentioned immigration already, but the economy, right? He gets this reputation for being great with the economy. If you look at history and what happened with tariffs in the past, it didn't turn out well for people. So I don't need to beat the point any further than other people have, but let's just take what's already happened as an example and say, yeah, it's not really great for us. Because even before COVID, you could see that these tariffs are going to create inflation. And the inflation that's been happening over the last 3 years, which has been easing, right? It's been getting a lot better. But those are also caused by the global shutdown of, the entire economic system. production and manufacturing and transportation, like everything grinded to a halt. So of course you're going to see inflation take place. I don't lay that at the feet of one president, not even just Trump, when he was in office. But something that doesn't get talked about regarding inflation is corporate greed. I mean, we have these earnings calls and reports from these corporations, and sometimes even just public statements that they've made about, like, why would they lower their prices? What motivation do they have to lower their prices? If people are already paying these high prices, why would you lower them? So I think that we need to be talking more about corporate greed when it comes to inflation, rather than just one president's or two presidents' political policy decisions. So yeah, I just don't get the sense that he's really the great businessman that he makes himself out to be. You know, starting out with the Head Start money that he did from his family, his poor business decisions that have led to bankruptcies, and just the fraud. That's the thing that sticks out to me about Trump, is his history of fraud. You know, whether it was charities or universities, like, that money was not for the betterment of people, right? The people he was claiming to serve in these universities with these charities. That was another way for him to try and make himself richer. He's great at marketing himself. I mean, that's one of the greatest skills that he has, but I don't think he's a successful businessman in making, you know, logistical decisions, and I don't trust him to be in charge of the country with that either. I also look at how he has cheated the working man throughout his career. There's been so many lawsuits. He just doesn't pay people. It's still happening, right? His rallies go to a city, and then the people that, you know, hosted him, the people that worked, are like, okay, pay us. And, you know, they're still getting hung out to dry. So this is a chronic thing, you know, and then he just buries people in the courts. Another strategy. He knows how to do what he's good at, he's great at, right? Marketing himself, portraying an image of himself. We saw that in the movies in the past too, right? He'd make cameos, and, you know, The Apprentice and all these shows where he performs, he's acting as a great businessman. But it's really just an act. It is like he's just good at selling himself. And then when people come to call for what they're owed, he buries them in the courts and shorts them. And just look at his record on that, with so many businesses where he just doesn't pay people. So to me, that's not somebody that's out there trying to make change for the average person, right? Looking out for working families, caring about their economic status. I think he knows what to say to you. I think he knows how to spin things, but I don't think he truly cares. And I don't think he truly has the plans needed. I mean, the healthcare thing's another joke. I mean, how long has he had to provide some kind of alternative to Obamacare? I mean, they tried repealing it and said that they had a plan, and he always says he's got a plan. And in the debate, he said, well, if you elect me, I'll come up with a plan. I mean, people love to say about Biden and Harris, you had 4 years, what have you done? I mean, Harris is vice president, so she doesn't actually have any kind of power aside from tie-breaking in a Senate, but he was the president, right? So where was the plan? Where's the plans for any of these things that we should be doing? So I think that kind of just concludes where I'm at. I'm just hoping that if this reaches anybody, maybe this is what tips the scales for you to not vote for Trump. Let's work together. Let's do this in a peaceful way. And just take care of each other, you know? And I don't think Trump's the guy to take care of us. Thanks for hearing me out. Please maintain respect for all people. Love you guys.